Back at it, television family. We're here. It's Monday. We're going to work. We're not going to work real hard. I mean, it's Monday after all, and it's the last day of the month. March is almost a done deal. The first quarter of the year is almost a done deal. Tomorrow is April. Wow. What happened to March? Well, it's over. Well, once we get through today. I'm Dan Kuntz. It is 45 degrees, a little unsettled for the couple of next 2.5 days, roughly 3 days. Not too bad. We'll see more sunshine than clouds. The upcoming weekend, provided that the forecast holds true, and we hope that it does because the upcoming weekend looks really good. Of course, for a lot of the kids, they're heading into spring break next week. So it looks like it's pretty good. We got to get there first. Things are going to be a little iffy from Mother Nature. We'll get all those details for you right out of the box. News, a lot of news. We'd like to have our weekends free, but the news crew had to do a little work over the weekend because things made news over the weekend. We'll have that. Sports, Seattle, of course, won on opening night Thursday. Then they got creamed on Friday, lost on Saturday, but they won yesterday. They're still struggling offensively. They only scored 2 runs, but they only needed 2 runs to beat the Athletics. We'll have highlights of that, plus all the prep action from over the weekend. And of course, the Leavenworth Rotary celebrates their golden anniversary this Saturday at the Leavenworth Fest Hall. 50 years of the Leavenworth Rotary, and we're going to talk to our friend Mahala Murphy-Martin to talk about the great works that the Rotary does. And this party on Saturday night at the Fest Hall is open to everybody, not just Rotarians. Anybody can buy a ticket and show up and have a good time. It's a theme. It's the golden anniversary, so it's a Gold Rush theme. She'll tell you all about it in the back half of the program. Let's do our cameras, shall we, on these longer days. And what do I mean by longer days? Sunrise this morning was at 6:41. Sunset tonight 7:30. That's 12 hours and 49 minutes of daylight, an additional 3 minutes and 24 seconds than what we had yesterday. And just point of reference, on March 1st, we had 11 hours and 6 minutes of daylight. On the last day of March, 12 hours and 49 minutes of daylight. So we gained over an hour and a half of daylight for the month of March. I was going to do the exact total, and I just didn't have the time. Good morning to the Wenatchee Valley from our Wenatchee Heights camera. Off we go to camera number 2. You can see the clouds. They're pretty prevalent anyway. We're off to Valley High. I don't know how the Valley High baseball team did over the weekend. I didn't get any scores from them. Good morning to our friends heading on up Blewett Pass, and they're going to have more snow melt, although they could get a little bit of snow, not much, just enough to make things a little dicey tonight into Thursday, because the snow level is going to get down to about 3,500 feet. Now, how much energy and moisture is out there, that's up for grabs, but when the snow level is at pass level or below that, you have to mention it. So they could get a little dusting, especially on Stevens, probably not so much on Blewett or on I-90. The traditional last day to get your studs off your tires is tomorrow. They're supposed to be gone by April 1st, and I don't think the DOT is going to extend that. I can't see a reason why. The third camera on our tour, back up to Lake Wenatchee. Looks ominous up there. Is it me, or did they get some snow up there? Looks like Dirty Face has more snow now than they did over the weekend. It's a possibility anyway. Somewhere down there is Lake Wenatchee. Same scenario. The temperature of the water and the temperature of the air directly above the water is variable enough that the fog forms, and then the sun will start climbing up into the sky, and they don't really need direct sunlight for the fog to burn off over the top of Lake Wenatchee. And we wrap up our tour with camera number 4, which is Slide Ridge, high on the south shore of Lake Chelan, looking over the 3 lakes that make up the 3 lakes around the Manson area. Well, I'm trying to remember. It's Wapato Lake, Roses Lake, and I can't remember. I don't know. I just drew a blank. Anyway, good morning to Manson. Manson itself is kind of clouded in fog, but you can see the area there. This is Slide Ridge, which is, as you might imagine, susceptible to slides, and that is way up there. And also, of course, that slope that you see faces north, which means it doesn't get a lot of sunlight, which means there's still a lot of snow up there. But that camera is way up there, too, about 3,700 feet in elevation. There you go. One slide to show for you, and that is the outlook for the week. It's going to be a little windy today. Could see some rain today. We have about a 50% chance of rain today, more like light rain or showers, and that's pretty much it. We're probably not going to see any rain for the rest of the week. But by the time we get to the weekend, especially Saturday and Sunday, we're going to go from mid 50s today to mid 60s on Saturday and Sunday, just in time for the weekend, because we've had some pretty nice days so far this spring, but they always seem to fall on a weekday when people can't get out and enjoy it. It's going to be different this weekend. Again, we're hoping that the forecast holds true. This is springtime and weather can change rather dramatically. We broadcast the Wenatchee Eastmont doubleheader on Friday night, and halfway through game number 1, a squall came through with rain and cold wind, and nobody knew where that was coming. It just was not in the forecast. It didn't last very long, but that's typical of what can happen spring around here. Longer days or not, things can still get cattywampus. From the National Weather Service, clouds most of the day today. Maybe some light rain. Again, nothing really big. Overnight low, afternoon high of about 57. As I mentioned before, the snow level is going to dip down to about 3,500 feet tonight. And even though it's going to be cloudy, we have no rain in the forecast once we get to the overnight hours. But the passes could get some light snow, 39 for the overnight low. Sunshine, a little breezy, not much, just a little breezy. On Tuesday, we'll get up to about 59, 38 for the overnight low Tuesday night. Sunshine again on Wednesday, not as warm, a few degrees cooler on Wednesday. Keep in mind our normal high this time of the year is 57. So we're going to be hovering right around our normal highs and lows with quite a bit of sunshine. Every once in a while, a rogue wind will kick up. And in the weekend, if this all holds true, a ridge of high pressure is going to start building up on Thursday night, which means Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The first weekend in April looks mighty fine indeed with sunshine and temperatures well above normal. That overnight low Friday, 73, that's what we call it in this business, a typo. All right, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, the news. You're watching a Monday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCWLIFE channel.
NCWLIFE's news team is keeping an eye on North Central Washington. Join us each weekday evening at 5, 6, and 10 for the NCWLIFE Evening News, with interviews, in-depth reporting, and the kind of insights you can't find anywhere else. We're the hometown news station for the Wenatchee Valley, the Cascade Foothills, and up and down the Columbia River. Thanks for watching NCWLIFE, proud to be part of the Washington State Apple Blossom Festival.
A ductless unit from Carrier can keep anyone comfortable. Take Shelly, for instance. She finds me time in her new attic-turned-home gym. And with her Carrier ductless unit, the temperature is always perfect. No matter how intense her workout gets. Carrier. Total comfort, totally happy.
Turn to the experts, Carrier and Alpine Air. Heat and air, call Alpine Air.
Hi, I'm Amanda Walden with A. Walden Insurance Group. Medicare can be overwhelming, but you don't have to figure it out alone. I've been helping people understand their Medicare options for over a decade. Medicare isn't a one-size-fits-all. I'll help you understand your coverage options so you can feel confident in your decisions. Let's find the right Medicare plan for you. Call me today or come and see me at my office located on South Chelan Avenue in Wenatchee between the YMCA and the Social Security office. I look forward to meeting you soon.
Central Washington Water is home to the Hot Spring Spa for over 45 years. Come see the Freshwater Smart IQ. It monitors your saltwater spa's pH balance, chlorine, and more. Or the cold plunge tub that will leave you feeling rejuvenated. Plug-and-play spas make hot tubbing easy. With great financing available, cold water, salt water, hot water, Central Washington Water has a spa for your budget and your lifestyle. Stop by today.
45 degrees, some high clouds. Not going to see the sunshine today. It's going to take the day off. We'll be upper 50s anyway with some hit and miss rain. Then sunshine with a little bit of wind for the balance of the week. And then a nice weekend, we hope, is heading our way. It's 9 minutes after the hour. A Sunday morning accident has claimed the life of an Aniad man who died while base jumping. Chelan County Sheriff deputies report that 47-year-old Elliot Barstow leaped from a butte at about 8:42 in the morning yesterday. Witnesses say his parachute failed to fully open, and Barstow struck a rock wall and then fell about 650 feet to his death. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Barstow was base jumping from a popular rock feature near milepost 202 just south of Rocky Reach Dam. Police say both suspects in the March 21st murder of 14-year-old Mario Santoya of Moses Lake were taken into custody over the last couple of days. 18-year-old Matthew Valdez had been sought in a warrant since Tuesday in the drive-by shooting that killed Santoya and wounded 4 other people on West Loop Road in Moses Lake. He was arrested early Friday in Beaverton, Oregon. Jose Beltran Rodriguez, 20 years old, he turned himself in to police yesterday in Redding, California. Both are charged with first-degree murder, 5 counts each of assault in the first degree, drive-by shooting, and felon in possession of a firearm. The U.S. Marshal Service and other federal and state agencies participated in the hunt for suspects. Moses Lake Police disclosed Thursday that a police officer's fiancée was among those wounded in the shooting. 26-year-old Crystal Santoyo is engaged to Moses Lake Police Detective Juan Saranto. 2 of the other people wounded were 17 years old. The 4th was 12 years old. A man accused of bumping 3 police officers with a vehicle while fleeing from a traffic stop on March 13th is now in custody. 23-year-old Romeo Padron was arrested Thursday. Police say after a Chelan County Sheriff's deputy arrested a woman who missed a stop sign and was wanted on warrants. Padron, who was her passenger, jumped into the driver's seat and drove away. His car allegedly bumped but did not injure the deputy, a sheriff's sergeant, and a Wenatchee police officer who were cooperating in the traffic stop. Police say it also struck the deputy's vehicle before fleeing. Of course, later that day, if you were stuck in traffic, you know what happened. A police SWAT team had to block off Chelan Avenue near Kittitas Street. They unsuccessfully searched for Padron at that time, but he's finally in custody. He faces likely charges, including third-degree assault, hit and run, and obstructing police. Chelan County authorities say a man in the grip of a mental health crisis threatened sheriff's deputies with a machete near Cole's Corner and then may have set his own RV on fire. It happened at about 11:30 Thursday night in the 1500 block of U.S. Highway 2. This is behind the 59er Diner. Sheriff's deputies say the 63-year-old man called them to the area asking for their help going to the hospital, but then greeted them with a machete and a hammer. He was arrested at about 1:55 on Friday morning after he allegedly set his trailer on fire and charged at the deputies. Lieutenant Rex McMillan with Lake Wenatchee Fire and Rescue says his agency was standing by to help when the fire broke out in the vehicle. The trailer, as you can see there, a total loss, but no other vehicles or structures were damaged and nobody was injured. Plans to turn the old Ernie's service station in Manson into a Link Transit bus turnaround with a rapid EV charger and business incubator? Well, it's stopped. Instead, the community is pushing for a park in that location. The Chelan-Douglas Regional Port Authority spent $9,300 for a feasibility study on turning Ernie's into a transit hub, but on Tuesday, the port terminated its agreement with the property owner and Link Transit, citing community sentiment. The Lake Chelan Community Services Council hopes to purchase the Wapatoway property and create a new park. The listing price for the privately owned property is $750,000. Link has used the area for years to turn its buses around at the end of their route. Port Commissioner Don Etherington said alternative sites for a turnaround will be explored. The Grant County PUD has decided to impose load growth limits on its data center customers. They want to decrease the risk of outages and instability for other customers. The rapid increase in power demanded from data centers over the past year has the PUD concerned that the growth rate will eventually put the safety of the grid at risk. PUD commissioners approved the load growth limit on Tuesday. PUD staff will communicate with each data center directly about how many megawatts they have left before their assigned limit. The limits will not apply to commercial, residential, or agricultural customers. And NCW Libraries is joining other library systems around the state speaking in support of the Institute of Museum and Library Services. On March 14th, President Trump signed an executive order that called for the elimination of the IMLS, which provides federal funding for libraries across the country. The Washington State Library receives about $3 million from the IMLS each year, which is then funneled to libraries statewide. NCW Library's Resource Director Summer Hayes and Executive Director Barbara Walters spoke with us about the potential impacts on library services.
We receive federal funds from IMLS that get funneled through the Washington State Library. We have several databases that are subsidized or paid for altogether through the Washington State Library from federal funds. So LinkedIn Learning is one of them. A lot of our student databases are heavily subsidized from the Washington State Library. The Washington State Library is instrumental in some of our really, really small, vastly underfunded libraries around the state. They actually pay for all the ebooks in some of the smaller libraries. The other piece that is going to be hit really hard is the Washington Talking Book and Braille Library, which is almost entirely funded by Washington State Library, and it serves people across the entire state. With a lot of different resources specifically for folks who have visual impairments. The expectation is that their ability to continue delivering those services will be cut dramatically.
We have in the past received, again, through the state library and funded by the IMLS program, Wi-Fi routers that extended our Wi-Fi out so that more people could access it, as well as hotspots that people can check out and that would provide them internet service at their homes if they do not have it, as well as we received funding for STEM programming. There's certain services that we could not provide if it wasn't for the Institute of Museum and Library Services, such as what we've, the databases, some of the, the Wi-Fi hotspots. Those are some of the things that we would have to critically look at if the funding went away. Between 95 and 97% of our revenue comes from property tax. I would just reiterate that the Washington State Library supports by IMLS just helps us lift up, kind of that gap. NCW Libraries is predominantly funded, like all junior taxing districts, through property tax payments. Right now, NCW Libraries levy rate is about half of what it normally is. So we rely on federal funding to kind of close that gap.
For things like this, IMLS is, in terms of the federal government, a really, really small agency. The impact is so high, and the threat of not having that funding has all libraries and museums across the state and the country really scrambling to figure out how to continue providing the services that they provide. It's really early. We don't know what things are going to look like. We don't know what the actual funding cuts will be, but the executive order made it really clear that it would be cut to the maximum extent. So I think everybody's just trying to figure out what that's going to look like right now.
That's the news on this Monday, the last day of March. If you're interested in what's going on around here, and we know you do because you watch the news, we have certain ways of figuring that out. The news tonight at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock, 5, 6, and 10 on television. It'll be up and running via the World Wide Web on our homepage, NCWLIFE.com, on our YouTube page, and on our Facebook page. And if you think something out there is newsworthy that warrants our attention, you send us an email, news@ncwlife.com, please. Sports is next. You're watching Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
I'm Jen Mueller. Watch for my show, I Cook, You Measure on NCW Life. It's part cooking instruction, part entertainment, and all about connecting over food and wine with your favorite Northwest athletes.
Watch I Cook, You Measure with Jen Mueller Mondays at 1, Wednesdays at 2, Fridays at 11 a.m., and Saturday and Sundays at 10:30 p.m. right here on the NCW Life channel.
The family at the Epladolin want to help your loved one feel at ease in their new home environment. Epladolin offers beautiful one-bedroom and studio apartments. Residents enjoy 3 delicious home-style meals a day, laundry service, housekeeping service, and encouragement to make themselves cozy in their new home. Epladolin welcomes your family to come and visit their family. Epladolin, independent and assisted living. They make the complicated easy for you. Call today for a tour.
Merry Maids can clean your entire home, business, or vacation rental from top to bottom, inside and out. Merry Maids will even take care of cleaning your carpets, and they can pressure wash your home. Merry Maids has thousands of happy customers. They've been cleaning homes and businesses in our valley for over 25 years. Check out their glowing reviews at merrymaidesofwenatchee.com and call the cleaning experts, Merry Maids, to get your free estimate. Your satisfaction is guaranteed. So relax, it's done.
Craving fresh Asian comfort food? Steam Panda is Wenatchee's popular family-friendly Asian restaurant. They focus on providing guests with delicious, healthy, fresh, and natural dishes for an affordable price. Warm up with one of their many popular house-made soup dumplings, ramen noodles, or pho dishes. And make sure to ask about their lunch and chef specials on sushi rolls. Steam Panda's Hawaiian poke bowl and salads are excellent with your favorite boba tea. Stop by or order online at Steam Panda today.
21 minutes after the hour, Julio Rodriguez hit a bomb, a 438-foot two-run home run in the 6th inning. That gave Seattle the lead. Brian Wu pitched 6 dominant innings, and the Mariners beat the A's 2-1 yesterday. Andres Munoz pitched the 9th inning for his 2nd save, and the A's and the Mariners split their 4-game series.
Tyler Soderstrom lead it off for the green and gold in the 4th. And Tyler Soderstrom to left field. The ball going back as Randy Arozarena goes back and watches it over the fence. Tyler Soderstrom on a tear in Seattle. Homer number 3 for him and a 1-0 A's lead.
Have yourself a start to the season. Tyler Soderstrom, 209. Stand up. Sody with another swat.
But you do feel good about Brian Wu up on the mound, his first outing of the season. I think we're all anxious to see what not only does Wu look like today, but just to follow up to an excellent year last year.
And he got him, chasing after a fastball, running away. The first strikeout this season for Brian Wu. Found right back to Cal's glove. 96 again from Brian Wu, and he strikes out Brent Rooker for round number 2.
Swung on and missed. Got him.
Locked him up. Froze him at 95. Swing and a miss on a fastball up and in from Wu. That's his 5th punch out.
Brian Wu was excellent in this game. He pitched really well. See if Robles is turned loose here. Julio will bat. He's 0 for 2 in the game.
There goes Victor. Julio skies this to left field. Lift off Julio! All the way up top, and the Mariners have taken the lead.
At some point, you have to break through. Gets the slider up in the strike zone. We talked about the wind affecting some of these fly balls. Being able anything to do with that 113-mile-per-hour exit velo off the bat.
Munoz looking for another strikeout to end it here in the top of the 9th inning. 2-1 Mariners lead.
He does exactly that. Filth from Munoz. He slams the door in the 9th. And the Mariners win this one 2-1. They split the opening series of the season.
Mariners continue their homestand tonight. The Tigers are in town for the first of 3. Emerson Hancock makes the start for Seattle. First pitch at 6:40. The American League West scoreboard from yesterday. There were the Mariners over the Athletics. The Astros didn't play. Angels won, beat the White Sox, and the Rangers over the Red Sox. Identical 3-2 scores. Well, the Seattle Kraken took to the ice Saturday night, having already been eliminated from the Stanley Cup playoffs, and they laid a big fat egg against the Dallas Stars. They lost 5-1. Seattle struck first, $1:27 in the first period. Eli Tolvanen scored a goal that was caused by a turnover near the blue line, and that was about it for the Kraken. The Kraken and the Stars play again tonight at Climate Pledge Arena at 7 o'clock. Prep Soccer scoreboard. The Wenatchee Panthers played 3 games in 4 days, and they won all of them. They're undefeated so far. They beat Davis and leap off the field of the Apple Bowl 4-3 on Friday night. Eastmont won their first match of the year over Eisenhower. It was Sunnyside by 2 over Moses Lake. Cashmere got by Warden in a non-leaguer, and Tenasket doubled up on Northwest Christian. Prep baseball scoreboard in the game that we carried for you on Friday. Wenatchee 10-run Eastmont. Both games, they didn't make it to 7 innings, 11-1 in the first game, 16-6 in the nightcap. Moses Lake swept aside Sunnyside in 2 big routes. It was a little closer for Kashmir in the game 1, but they shut out College Place in game 2. In fact, sweeps across the board. Colville swept Chelan on prep baseball on Friday night. More prep baseball. There was so much we got to do 2 pages. Libertyville crushed Omak in both of their games. Okanagan crushed Lake Roosevelt in both of their games. Brewster had a tight one against Tonasket and then a blowout. There's a lot of sweeps. If you look at the prep softball scoreboard, which is next, you'll see even more sweeps. Eastmont swept aside the Panthers on Friday afternoon, and then Glacier Peak came to town, beat Eastmont on Saturday morning, but lost to Wenatchee on Saturday afternoon. College Place swept by Kashmir with 2 big scores, and Ephrata and East Valley split their doubleheader. And more prep softball. Othello swept Quincy by 2 big scores. This happens in fast pitch softball. Same deal with Colville. No real problems with Chelan, and Tonasket just crushed La Conner 31-5 and 22-9 on Friday. All right, and those are just some of the games that people are playing. Happy National Crayon Day. You know, the smell of crayons is the 18th most recognizable smell. It's true. When we think of crayons, we think of Crayola, which is the dominant brand. They go back to 1902. When they first came out in 1902, Crayola offered 19 different boxes with 30 different colors. And then from that point until 1998, Crayola produced 120 different colors, and they have retired 50 colors over the course of the year. They make about 3 billion crayons a year. And by the way, in 1962, Crayola changed the name of the color flesh to the color peach. Happy National Crayon Day today. It has been a while. Today in history, happy 136th birthday to the Eiffel Tower. It officially opened. It took not too long, 2 years, 2 months and 5 days to build it. It was 985 feet high. In 1957, they added a broadcast antenna to the top of it. That makes it now 1,052 feet, although cold weather makes the Eiffel Tower shrink. It gets smaller or shorter in the cold weather. For 41 years, it was the highest building in the world. It was surpassed by the Chrysler Building in New York in the early 1930s. And during the French resistance, during the Nazi occupation, the French resistance cut the cables to the elevator and made it so the Nazis couldn't fix it. So they used the Eiffel Tower, obviously, Nazi Germany did, as an observation deck, but they had to climb all the way to the top to do it. The Eiffel Tower opened on this date in 1889. Happy anniversary to this. Daylight saving time goes into effect in the United States. For the first time, they took their cue from Europe, who wanted longer days so they could make more munitions for World War I. And we still haven't figured out what to do with it yet. Daylight saving time is 107 years old. The 45 RPM record is 76 years old today, March 31st, 1949, 1 year after Columbia introduced the long playing record, the LP. RCA Victor introduced the 45 RPM. So Columbia invented the LP, which meant RCA had to pay Columbia royalties because Columbia owned the patent. RCA got even because they owned the patent for the 45 RPM record, which first hit the market on this date in 1949. Happy birthday to this behemoth. UNIVAC 1 is delivered. Remington Rand delivers UNIVAC 1 to the United States Census Bureau. I think they're still using it. It used 5,000 vacuum tubes. It weighs 7.6 tons, and it took up an entire room. The first UNIVAC is delivered 74 years ago today. Nobody knew the size of the bombshell that Lyndon Johnson was about ready to drop on the nation on the evening of March 31st, 1968. 2 people did know. Who were those 2 people? I'll let you know after you see this.
I do not believe that I should devote an hour or a day of my time to any personal partisan causes or to any duties other than the awesome duties of this office, the presidency of your country. Accordingly, I shall not seek and I will not accept the nomination of my party for another term as your president.
The only two people who knew in advance, outside of the president himself, his wife, Lady Bird. He told her before he went on national television the announcement he was going to make. And the other person who knew in advance, the only other person, the guy who had to load the machine, the teleprompter. He read it. He saw it too. LBJ ain't running again 57 years ago today. And they say to win the NCAA tournament, you got to get hot at the right time. And there's no better example than this date 28 years ago today. Arizona defeats Kentucky in overtime, 84-79 to win the NCAA Men's Basketball National Championship. Arizona in the regular season went 19-9. They finished 5th in the Pac-12. They were the number 4 seed in the Southeast Regional, but they beat number 1 Kansas, number 1 North Carolina, and number 1 Kentucky. The way the tournament is structured today, you can't do that anymore. You can't play 3 number 1s in the same tournament, but they did, and they beat them all, and they won the national championship 28 years ago today. Got hot at the right time. Birthdays. We think of Shirley Jones as, you know, Polly Purebred, the Music Man, Carousel, Oklahoma, the Partridge Family. Shirley Jones is 91, but she won her Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress in 1960 by playing a prostitute. I kid you not. Shirley Jones, 91 years old today. Herb Alpert, the only recording artist to have a number 1 hit on the Billboard Hot 100 as a vocalist and as an instrumentalist. And of course, he founded A&M Records in 1962, which became the world's largest independent record company until he sold it for $500 million. Herb Alpert is 90 years old today. Christopher Walken, 82 years old today. He has an Academy Award or 2 sitting on his mantle. Happy 82nd to Christopher Walken. My favorite rapper from South Korea. I love the music of Bang Young-guk. Bang Young-guk is 35 years old today, and happy birthday to Stephen and Carly, or Carly and Stephen. One is my niece, one is my nephew. They're cousins. They're awesome people. They know how old they are today. They're one of the few nieces and nephews whose birthdays I can remember because it's on the same day. For Heat and Air, call Alpine Air. For Heat and Air, call Alpine Air. They are our platinum sponsors. Mike Minotti's got an opinion coming up, and then Leavenworth Rotary celebrates their golden anniversary with a big party on Saturday night. Mahala Murphy Martin will tell you all about it when we come back. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCWLIFE channel.
Hello, Wenatchee Valley. Collins Fashion's famous Buy One, Get One sale has begun. That's right. Buy one sale item, clothing item at half price and get the next one free. Collins Fashion still has a great selection of quality fall and winter merchandise. Coats, jackets, sweaters, jeans, tops, PJs, hats, and gloves. Spring merchandise is arriving daily. Your favorite brands like Tribal, Charlie B, Habitat, Joseph Ribkoff, etc. Collins Fashions is where fun meets fashion in downtown Wenatchee.
So when we talk about stock and mutual, all I know, and I don't know a lot, Braden, I'm going to be honest with you, stock, a little more volatile, mutual, a little more stable, a little more conservative. Is that essentially correct?
When you look at a mutual company, you have to look at like a policy holder. Right? A policy holder is essentially somebody that buys into a product with that company, and if that company declares a dividend, that company is required to pay that dividend back to the policy holder, right? Where a stockholder, they're not satisfying, people that buy individual contracts or products through that company. Their main focus is taking care of the shareholder. So it's a different in ownership, right? With the mutual company, you have this ownership. You have more ownership and receiving the profits that would come back in the form of a dividend that would go back into your own account.
Does having more ownership mean you get more power in the decision making?
Right, absolutely. Like you would vote necessarily, right? Each and every year with the board of directors, right? You get something in the mail and says, hey, you need to vote on the board of directors, and they keep you updated on the CEO, and they keep you updated on.
You have an ownership stake.
There is, right? And with that ownership stake there's a requirement, right, that the profit, when it goes and they invest our money and then they have a surplus and then they pay out a dividend, that dividend goes back to us, which is very, very valuable.
This is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, a recent bill, H.R. 30, the Preventing Violence Against Women by Illegal Aliens Act, was voted on. Now, in part, this bill concerned whether or not deporting or not allowing immigration to aliens who are sex offenders. Well, I'm not familiar with all the arguments for or against this bill or all the details, but supporters of Donald Trump complain that 145 Democrats voted against this bill, a bill about restricting sex offenders. Supporters of Donald Trump complaining about a lack of action restricting sex offenders. This is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and that's my opinion.
Caught in a conflict? Family, workplace, neighbor, business, housing disputes? Wenatchee Valley Dispute Resolution Center provides mediation services, a cost-effective and efficient way to provide a written resolution to disputes and issues. Plus, we offer mediation training and community education on conflict resolution and communication skills. Contact us to learn more.
It's the NCWLIFE Community Calendar, brought to you by Valley Tractor and Rentals. The Wenatchee School District is hosting a job fair for prospective bus drivers on Saturday, March 29th at the Transportation Building next to Wenatchee High School. You can apply in person and test drive a bus. The 25th edition of the Mariachi Northwest Festival concludes with a gala concert on March 29th at the Wenatchee High School Auditorium. The headliner this year is Shalala DeCal and features the award-winning Mariachi Hanachi.
Spring into the good life. World-class wine, food, and hospitality meet on the shores of Lake Chelan. Chelan Cellars, bringing great wine, food, friends, and family together where vineyards and the good life bloom every spring.
Tipsy Canyon Winery has become the place to go for fine wine and unbelievable views of the Chelan Valley. Tipsy Canyon Winery is a year-round destination for wine lovers, so stay for the moment that becomes the memory at Tipsy Canyon Winery.
Are you dealing with a pest or weed issue and you just don't know what to do?
We use the best pest control methods approved for areas with kids and pets.
Whether it's rats, mice, ants, or spiders,
or something else altogether, we provide the coaching and solutions you're looking for.
And you can know that your dollars are supporting a local, family-owned and operated business.
Allow us to help you get back to living healthy and pest-free. Harvest Valley Pest Control.
Welcome back to the program. It's become common, unfortunately, over the last 10 years or so. A lot of service clubs aren't doing too good. Some of them have seen various members drop away. Some service clubs just can't seem to get younger people involved. And I'm talking about almost all of them, really. We love them all. They do great work. Lions and Tigers and Bears and all those other great service organizations. Rotary is an exception to that. Rotary is thriving, not only here in the Wenatchee Valley. You got your Confluence and your Sunrise and your downtown and all of them. Leavenworth Rotary is about ready to celebrate a milestone, 50 years serving the Bavarian Village and doing a good job of it. Introduce yourself to our television family.
Oh, my name is Mahela Murphy-Martin, and I am the past president of our Leavenworth Rotary and this year's fundraising chairperson.
How long is the planning for this 50th anniversary going on? Because 50 is a big one.
50 is a big one. Really started the whole process in October.
Okay.
And you know, as you get closer to the event, you start ramping up how many times you're meeting and really getting all the particulars completed. So
she mentioned the event, and we'll get to that in just a little bit. They're not obviously when you celebrate your 50th anniversary, you're going to have a party of that. There's no question. I had no idea that Dr. Ed Cadman, who was at one time the president of Rotary International, I mean the head dude from right here in the Wenatchee Valley, he was the one who got the folks in the Upper Valley to get a Leavenworth Rotary going back in 1975.
Absolutely, and Ed Cadman was the catalyst to begin the Club of Leavenworth, and We've actually had an Ed Cadman Fund in his honor because of his instigating the whole process.
Ed, of course, as I mentioned before, was the president at one time of Rotary International, as big as you get, the head dude, so to speak. Do you know why it was 50 years ago that Ed said we need to start branching Rotary a little bit farther out from the Wenatchee Valley, get Leavenworth involved and some other folks, or was it just time?
I think from my understanding before my time, that Ed saw the need for there to be a club in Leavenworth. It was a thriving community with the merchants and the businesses, and knew that there were a lot of movers and shakers in Leavenworth that needed to start this whole program of service above self.
People who join Rotary, you're kind of a lifer. It's kind of like the mob. Once you're in, you're in. You've probably had some folks who've been in the Leavenworth Rotary for almost from the beginning that are still members or been there for a long time.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, as time passes, you lose a lot of those tenured members, but we definitely do have those that have been there nearly as long as it has been in existence.
How long has Diana been a member? Our mutual friend Diana Zumini. How long
yes,
has she been there?
Diana Zumini, our dear friend. She's been in. She's also a past president. I think she's been in since, I want to say early 90s,
Yeah.
I believe.
She's got the Paul Harris trophy sitting proudly on her desk.
She does, and thanks to Diana as well as all the rest of our members, these are really good people that have done so much for our community and the world at large.
Speaking of that, this is just insane. You sent me a list, or somebody from your organization sent me a list. You sent me pictures of all the local projects. This dates back about how many?
10 years.
This is 10 years worth of projects. While we throw pictures up, talk just a little bit one-on-one about all of these individual projects that the Rotary folks in Leavenworth have done. Start with Upper Valley Men. I think an organization we're all familiar with.
Yes, and so as you say, most people are very familiar with Upper Valley Mend and all of the very important things that they do for our community. And one of the actions that they do is gleaning. And for those that aren't familiar, it's where the orchardists and the farmers open up the residual of their crops that volunteers go and pick the fruit and the other agricultural items, and those are then dispersed to the food banks locally and across state. Well, they did not have a gleaning van. And so one of the things that Leavenworth Rotary has done is they actually purchased the Upper Valley Men's first gleaning van.
All the Rotaries everywhere have scholarships that the groups get together and fund, and most of these are perpetually funded, and you, of course, have done scholarships.
We have.
Yeah.
We have 4 at least that we do each year. And these are to students, very deserving students, who it's not a scholastic scholarship as per se. It's to recognize those students who have done above and beyond their gifts to the community and their service to the community. And we like to recognize that because, of course, that's our future.
Speaking of students, on an annual basis, some high schooler, I think it's high school age, right? Goes from Leavenworth overseas to someplace else.
Correct.
And that country sends somebody of the same age to you guys.
Correct.
And we get to do a little cross-cultural action on that.
Correct. So, one of Rotary's areas of service is to Goodwill and international. So what better way to introduce young people to the world and to being good stewards of our world. And so this year we have 2. We have Jesper, who's from the Netherlands, and we have Janice, who's from Shanghai.
Wow. I had no idea.
Sorry.
The Wenatchee River Institute, WRI, who I love, and they have a beautiful campus. I had no idea that you guys played a part in building the Learning Center. I didn't find that out until I read my notes.
We did. We actually built, and I have to amend that, Dan. Janice is not from Shanghai. She's from Taiwan.
Okay.
Yes, we actually did build the Outdoor Learning Center for WRI, and it is being used on a consistent basis and has been a real valued part of the valley.
Enchantment Park is the park that the locals use. Parks, like all parks, need maintenance and new cool stuff to drive people to the park. You've done that as well in Enchantment Park.
We did. We built the playground equipment and the pump track. So it is an enticement for our locals, but also our visitors. And what better way to help our local economy and our valley's economy by having families come and introducing them to our beautiful area.
One of the best ways to get younger people involved in service clubs, Rotary or any service club, it doesn't matter, they all do good work, is to get them involved in their younger years when they can you can make an impact, and that's where the Interact Club comes in. And again, most Rotaries have this as well, right?
Correct. Well, you hope.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what you hope. And we have an extremely vibrant Interact group. They have over 60 members this year. And you are correct, Dan. This is the arm of Rotary for those technically middle school, high school students. Now ours are all from the Cascade High School. But again, these are our future. You introduce young people to service and service above self and giving to your communities, and that's what perpetuates the goodwill and good deeds in our world.
Another construction project, we mentioned already the Wenatchee River Institute, the playground equipment. The Leavenworth Senior Center, if you don't have a good roof, you might as well not even have a senior center. It was falling apart.
That's correct.
Leaks everywhere. Your club stepped in and said, we'll take care of that.
That's correct. It would not have been able to operate.
It
would have been condemned.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's absolutely can't happen. Not only is that for social, which is so extremely important as people are aging, they also provide Meals on Wheels. So leading into that, we also provided the new kitchen equipment because that was broken. So again, for those shut-ins, for those that do not have the opportunity to get out and have that social interaction, because let's face it, those that are volunteering with the Meals on Wheels, they're there maybe the only person that person is visiting with.
Oftentimes they're checking in just to see how they're doing too. You know, I mean, these are shut-in people who don't get out. They depend on the social interaction not only for the food, but just to be with other people.
Absolutely, it is a wellness check. And because of Meals on Wheels and those volunteers, they have many times been the ones to note that someone is failing.
Yeah. And those are just the local projects. Of course, Rotary International has been trying to eradicate polio for 20 years now. That's been like the mission for quite a couple of decades now,
It
right?
has.
And we're like there, right?
We are. We only had 2 wild cases last year. I believe Pakistan and I believe Afghanistan.
Yes, I think you're right. Yeah.
I think those were the 2. So we are so close, and that would not have happened without Rotary. It just wouldn't.
Your local Rotary, the Leavenworth Rotary, how do you decide who gets what of your time and money? Money is not that big of a deal. Anybody can write a check. Time is something else altogether. How do you guys vet who gets what project and where do you put your energy towards? How does that happen?
There is a committee, and there's local funded projects and hands-on projects committees. And when it's funding, we do look at other 501c3s, nonprofits. They will submit an application to the committee who reviews those, and they have to be viable. They have had to have been in existence and have a plan to be successful. But that's not to say that we don't have those projects that someone may be very ill and you get out there with the hammer nails and build ramps and accessibility. So, or paint, or put in new electrical to adult family homes, things like that. So there's a lot of those projects and activities that these very generous, kind people do, in addition to just the formal projects.
I mentioned at the start of this conversation, there are a lot of service clubs who are seeing a decline in membership, and it's not necessarily they're either, well, they're exiting their earthly vessel. I'm trying to think about the best way to put that. Yes. But they're struggling getting younger people people involved in their organizations, people in their 20s and 30s. Is that a problem with your Leavenworth Rotary, or are you making headway there?
We do have a number of younger participants and Rotarians now, and I think one of the issues, even in Rotary, it was always a quiet doing sort of service organization. And a couple of years ago, Rotary International said, we need to be a little bit more vociferous about what we do. And I think that's one of the keys to any organization, is being out in your community, wearing your swag, saying who you are, what you're doing, because it's been really interesting, whether it's us painting a wall that's been tagged, or doing a fundraising event, something like that. We're wearing our vests or cleaning up the highway, and we've had people roll down their windows and ask or say, well, what are you doing? What's Rotary? And I think that's kind of a key for any organization. You need to be a little visible. You need to be a little bit more vocal about what you do and all the good works that you do.
The physical footprint of Leavenworth Rotary is what exactly? The greater Upper Valley?
Pretty much. We, of course, you have people from Plain and Lake Wenatchee, and to Kashmir also. So I think that would be safe. We do have some people, though, that are traveling from Wenatchee for various reasons. Maybe they have a home there, and so also want to be participating in that community.
How do you, before we get into the big party, which, by the way, April 5th, write that down, how do you quantify success? How do you know that you're making an impact not only in the Upper Valley and Leavenworth in general, but just to the citizens? Is there a measurable way you can say, man, we are doing good, or you do it and you hope people notice that you're doing good?
I really think, Dan, that's really more the attitude, is you don't look for the accolades, you don't look for the pats on the back, but if we're growing, which we are, I think that says a lot for what people are recognizing and want to be a part of. So to me, that's a measure of success, but it's in so many things. I feel that when you are doing these works and you are accomplishing your goals, that's success. And that seems to be the biggest, I think, measurement.
Well, let's talk about the party. It's a themed party, Gold Rush, because it's the golden anniversary, 50th anniversary of the Leavenworth Rotary. Talk about all the things that people need to know. You don't have to be a Rotarian to show up. No, in fact, it's encouraged if you're not a Rotarian to show up, as a matter of fact. Give me all the good goop about April 5th.
Okay, leavenworthrotary.com. You can go to the site, and there is a barcode that you can actually sign up for the event. And you're right, you don't need to be a Rotarian. We have a lot of non-Rotarians that attend our parties. This is going to be a very fun event, Dan. We are in nod of our 50th year, so golden anniversary, right? So the Gold Rush, also a nod to our area. With the gold mining in the area, we wanted to really capitalize on that. So the Fest Hall of Leavenworth is going to be turned into a saloon. And if you wish to don your attire, miners, saloons, Western garb, it's all part of the fun. We will have gaming tables, not gambling, gaming. We are not exchanging real money for at the tables, but we will have blackjack, we will have craps, we will have a money wheel, we will have a sluicing box or sluicing station. Wow. So you may
You may discover gold.
Dan, and you may discover some gold. So, and line dancing. So if you're really hankering to learn how to line dance, you can come and learn how to line dance.
I wanted to point one thing out, and I apologize. There's a typo. This is the flyer. There's a typo. It says it's $65 per person. You could charge twice that. And
That's true, and a lot of organizations do, because this includes a beautiful barbecue dinner.
Yes, food and
That's
fun.
right.
$65. You could do better than that.
Well, we could, but you know what? We want to encourage people to come, have fun, and bid. So, you know, we do have adult beverages, and of course in theme. So all of that participation really does go to support. So we'll have our live auction items and our silent auction items and our dessert dash, and all of those contribute to our activity and to support our whole goal of fundraising.
Last question before we cut you loose, because we're almost out of time. For people who might be interested in joining the Leavenworth Rotary, you meet where and when?
We meet on Fridays at noon at Crystal's on Highway 2.
Cool. I think everybody knows where that is.
I think so.
Join the Rotary. Join any service club. I don't care what it is. I know a lot of Rotarians, and almost all of them are really cool. Some of them are really, really cool. Congratulations, happy 50th anniversary, and let us know how it goes, all right?
Thank you, Dan. I really appreciate your time.
Thanks for coming down. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
You're watching Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley. We'll be right back.
Caught in a conflict? Family? Workplace? Neighbor? Business? Housing disputes? Wenatchee Valley Dispute Resolution Center provides mediation services, a cost-effective and efficient way to provide a written resolution to disputes and issues. Plus, we offer mediation training and community education on conflict resolution and communication skills. Contact us to learn more.
Global Car Care has the best customer service in the Valley. From the moment you walk in the door, their goal is to help you stay on the road, so you can keep doing what's important to you. Global Car Care certified ASE mechanics stand behind your automotive repairs.
When you buy tires at Les Schwab, you're getting more than just tires. You're getting America's best tire warranty, 60-day satisfaction guarantee, no hassle road hazard protection, and free maintenance for the life of your tires. So if something happens to your tire on the road, we'll fix it, or we'll replace it, no questions asked. Other places make you pay extra for that kind of protection, but at Les Schwab, it's included with every set of tires, because more warranty means less worry, and nobody stands by their tires like Les Schwab. Get more from less.
At Local Myth Pizza, we believe in real food, freshly prepared with only premium ingredients. Our cheeses are imported from Italy. Our sauces, dressings, and even our sausages are made in-house fresh daily. Featuring Northwest craft beers and 30 Chelan Valley wines and ciders. Family fun and amazing food. Eat local, drink local, and be local at Local Myth Pizza.
Come see why Sunset Magazine says you can't beat Local Myth Pizza.
Well, as you can probably tell by the weather window right behind me, it is raining here in the Wenatchee Valley. It's also dropped rather dramatically. The rain and the temperature decreasing both pretty much came at the same time. A little over half an hour ago, it was 42 degrees without rain when this show started. It's now 42 degrees, and it's raining. It's not raining heavy. It's not biblical. It's just some light drizzle, but that's pretty much what we're going to have for most of the day today. In fact, today and really most of tomorrow is going to be fairly unsettled. Here once again is your outlook for the week that the National Weather Service sent our way in the wee small hours. What are we looking at? There you go. Little rain today. The rain will be tapering off overnight tonight, and we're going to replace the rain with a little bit of wind. It is going to be a little breezy Tuesday night, and Wednesday, and then things start looking pretty good on Thursday. Our normal afternoon high temperature this time of the year is 57. And as we look at the forecast, you're going to see that 57-degree mark is going to be pretty much right in our wheelhouse. Clouds and light rain today, 57 for the afternoon high. A little bit warmer On Tuesday, again, a little breezy, close to 60. We'll be right at that 55 to 60 degree mark for the afternoon highs with some light wind on Wednesday and Thursday. And then starting on Friday, high pressure is going to build up. And the weekend, the first weekend in April, looks pretty good. That's it for us. Have a good and safe Monday. We'll see you April. Bye-bye.